welcome back to another video. This week I'm doing my Procreate Drawing Process video, showing you guys how I do things in Procreate and how I draw characters and stuff. Basically I first start off with a 4000 by 4000 pixel canvas. I've been using that a lot more lately because it's good for Instagram layout. So I've been using a 4000 by 4000, even though I shouldn't let Instagram dictate what I do. But anyways, I drag Pinterest to the side of my Procreate app, and on iPad you could do this. I think you could do it on other tablets too, but yeah. And then I always get my references. I got a reference from Pinterest. I have my own board with a bunch of references I use that I've just added from just scrolling through Pinterest and stuff like that. And I use this girl. I have this prompt to do, which is radiant like the stars that shine in the night sky, I shine. So I basically had to do a prompt for a girl I'm working with. She wanted me to do this drawing for her based off that quote. So this is what I'm doing for the drawing. Hopefully it's what she wants. But she said to draw either a boy or a girl based on this quote, and that's what I did for you guys. When I usually start off drawing, I just start off with a sketch. I draw as a very basic line, those perpendicular lines to map out where the face is supposed to be, and then I draw a circle for the skull, and then I just draw out the cheekbones and things like that. Work my way down to the neck, and make sure the ears are. I showed you guys how to draw a head in how I draw a head video, or was it faces, something like that. It was one of my videos, my drawing tutorials. But I just sketch out really quickly the pose I am trying to imitate. I didn't know if I wanted to do a full body character for her, but I just decided to do her from the mid calf, I think, up, just because I didn't feel like drawing shoes for this video, and drawing shoes is just another headache for me. So like always, the brush I use is the dry ink brush in the inking section of the brushes. I've talked about I think I talked about how I tweaked it a little bit where it tapers at the end for me a little bit more, but yeah, it's basically the same brush. I just have different save files of it, different saved brushes of it for different things. Like if I want to draw a color in the background, I have a thicker dry ink brush for that I made, and stuff like that. But here is where I start outlining the sketch that I did, making a final outline of the sketch and things like that, cleaning up the lines. Now I add a new layer, and I lower the brush size of my brush and of the same brush, dry ink brush, and to start drawing the eyes and the facial features. I always do this on a separate layer, because I do everything practically on a separate layer, just because I mess up a lot and I like to change things around a lot. So if I want to change anything, I don't have a problem where something's already laid down, I don't want to have a problem where I have to move separate things and then have to ever end up going back and erasing everything and then fixing it. If I have to move something, I want it to be easy to be able to use the liquefy tool on, or to transform tool on it. So yeah, I do basically everything on a separate layer. So facial features on a separate layer, clothes will be on a separate layer, the outline, the sketch are on different separate layers each. And yeah, that's usually how I do everything. I did stars. I don't usually do stars for the girl's eyes. I just did it for this video because of the quote that I had to do. But I still color the eyes basically how I usually do it for the pupil. Is that the pupil? The eyes are like still circular. So yeah. Okay, new layer, and I do hair next, usually right after I do facial features and things like that. And yeah, I found this. I have a hair reference board on Pinterest, so I went to that and I used one of the hairstyles I saw from there. I had an idea of what I wanted. I remember seeing this picture, so I was like, okay, let me go back and see if I could replicate this hairstyle. And yeah. It took me so long to do the hair because I accidentally did the curls going down instead of curling up. So I had to erase it and then go back and make sure the curls were flipped up instead. But yeah, after I fixed it and everything was flipped up and I used the liquify tool a little bit, I was in love with the hairstyle. But I was like, something's off here. It's not looking exactly like how I wanted it to look. And then I realized why. The curls were the wrong way. But yeah. And when I usually finish the hair is when I usually go back to the final outline layer and I erase the lines that are underneath where the hair should be, or where it shouldn't be shown. Okay, new layer again, and I start sketching out, or not sketching, but doing the outfit layer and drawing what the outfit she's going to be wearing and stuff like that. I gave her this halter top. It's like a 70s inspired kind of outfit, I would say, that I gave her. I heard from the quote, radiant like the stars that shine in the night sky. I was like, okay, she's like I don't know how to say. I don't know. I was thinking like a go-go dancer and just those like outfits, and she's just having fun and she's just herself and she's just really pretty and things like that. So that's what I was going for, and I don't know why I thought 70s would be good for that, but it just hit me, and I was like, okay, yeah. Yeah, something just came to mind, and I was like, yeah, I wanted her to seem very confident, I guess that's the word. And so when I saw this outfit, I was like, yeah, it has to be this one. I added some accessories and rings, a scrunchie, and some gold bracelets to her arm, and yeah. Everything is all finished now, all sketched out. I add a new layer, put it underneath all the final outline layers and over the sketch layer, and I start with the skin tone layer always. I chose this I wanted her to be, when I do colors, I usually especially for darker skin tones now, I try to add a little bit more of a red tone to it so it doesn't look so dry and ashy and dead. So I try to move the color picker to the red side a little bit, and I used like a mid-tone brown for her skin color. Still using the dry ink brush from the inking section, which is my favorite brush, and I use it practically for everything now. That, and then I use the gouache brush from the painting section, and those are like the two brushes I use mainly. Maybe some other brushes and like for special effects. I add a new layer, and then I start painting the hair. I've been doing this for a while now, where I use dark blues and dark purple as like a black, and then like a mid-tonish reddish pink for like brunette hair, if you see my art before, you see it a lot. And yeah, it's like a style that I'm just trying to go for, where I don't have to use such a harsh black on everything. The only times now that I really use black on hair and stuff like that, if that's what I was really going for. And then also or else I just use a dark purple, because purple is the darkest color other than black. And but unless I'm doing like a commission and somebody specifically requests that their hair be black, then I okay, I could do that. But yeah, I usually just do purple. And this is like a more of a bluish purplish tone, and I did it because I'm trying to make it look like the night sky. I next end up going and coloring the outfit this orangey color, because every time I think of orange I think of the 70s. And so yeah, I was like, yeah, let me do this orange color. It's like pale orange. I really like how it came out. New layer. And now I start coloring more of the facial features, like the eyes. I use a off-white beigeish color for the eyes, because your eyes aren't truly white. So I also use that for the teeth, that same color for the teeth. And yeah, new layer, I start coloring the pupils or the stars now for this for her eyes. I use like a really pale light yellow, and I also, on the same layer, I color in the lips, because they're in separate areas so they never conflict, and it helps save a layer. For lips, I love doing like I don't know if you guys seen the like lipstick color, like the glossy like 90s lipstick kind of duo for like darker skin tones and things like that. So I've been doing that a lot lately, where like the top lip is like darker, and then like the bottom lip is like a light pink. And new layer, I do all the accessories on. I usually color in all the accessories on one layer, unless one is like conflicting with something, then I usually do it on a different layer. Okay, and now this is why I have everything on separate layers. I put every final outline layer that I use to sketch out the outlines layer, and I alpha locked all of them. And for the first one is the skin layer, so I color pick that base color from the skin. For darker skin tones, I always go to a purple, and I bring it all the way down that's a reasonable amount. And then I use this like round brush, basic brush I have that I created, and then I color in the outlines of this where the skin is. So yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but you guys will see the whole process. Like I color the outline layer, and according to what it's outlining. So the clothes layer is orange, is like a pale orange. I'm gonna go like a darker orange, maybe a little reddish, and color the outline of that. And then for the hair, I go for a dark, almost black, purple-ish color, or yeah, purplish or bluish color. And then for the face, I use the same color as the skin tone for basically everything first, and then I go in with the same color I used for the hair outline, and use that for the eyebrows, and then the eyelashes, and the eye pupil now, because I used to do the eye pupil its own color, but I've been doing the eye pupil the same color as the hair color outline lately. So yeah. And then only other thing I change on the face is maybe the lip outline, to give like a dark purple outline, especially, or whatever it corresponds to the lip color. And yeah. But yeah, this is why I keep everything practically on a separate layer. And then maybe at the end, if I'm like trying to do like a background and I'm pressed for layers, I will compress all the sketch layers together when I am happy with the outline layers. And if I'm happy with where everything is proportionally, I don't have to move anything. I know I'm not going to move anything around. Then I crush them all together, or compress them all together. Now I alpha lock all my colored layers, colored in layers, and yeah, I start shading. I start off with the first one, which is the skin. I color pick the skin, and then I go to like a reddish color or deeper, darker redder color, just a little bit, and I do like the mid-tone shadow for the whole body and where the opposite of where the light source is coming from. So I have the light source coming from the back, her back. So yeah, I do everything. That's basically, I change it eventually, but I have everything that's coming from the front, pretty much darkened and colored in this shade. For the hair layer, I of course select it and then choose a darker color, but I just do like a basic shading of it, just to get the shadows down. So everything, I go in later and add the detail to the hair and the shadows and things like that. But for here, I just do like a basic shadowing, just a blocking of shadows and lights. For the outfit, I go in with a reddish orangish tone color, and I shade around where the shadow should be. For the white parts of the eyes, I go on with like a beigeish, darkish color, gray, maybe grayish color, and I just go above where the top of the eyelid eye line is. I shade in right there where the eyelid would be casting a shadow, maybe, and maybe just around on the bottom of the eye, and yeah, and then I shade in the side of the teeth that probably isn't getting the most of the light, which would be from her front. So lips, I go in with I change the color eventually because I'm like, I want it to be a more deeper color, more true to her skin tone. And I do where I told you guys, the lip, that lip style where the light pink is in the middle, right, is closest to the center of the mouth. And I color the lighter shade, and it gives it that lip gloss. And yeah, and I color in the pupils. I shade in all the accessories next and things like that. And yeah, for the shirt and the pants, the outfit, I wanted to give it this like tie-dye pattern almost. So I use this, like, I wanted to use pink, this fuchsia color. And I just used that gouache brush I love so much, from the painting section. And I made little splotches all over her outfit. And then I smudged it out a little bit using the same gouache brush in the smudge in the painting section. I used that also for smudging. And it turned out perfect. Now for my favorite part is adding the blush and highlight to the skin tone. I color pick the skin tone. I go to like if the color, the character is more darker, I go more purplish, more pinkish, or more purpler pinkish. Then if she's a lighter skin tone, I use more reddish, more pinkier. I think these are words. More pinkier tone. And yeah, I do blush on where I think it could use a little bit more color and make her look a little bit more alive. So I usually do right there on the nose to cheek section. I love that area to add blush. And then chin, the sides of the forehead, and basically just a little bit, just like a light shadowing over the skin parts, over the shadow. To highlight, I do similar thing. I color pick the skin tone and go lighter with the skin, more on if I wanted to have like a more golden hour look, I use a more gold color for her highlight and things like that. And I just use the gouache brush and draw lines or little poofs in areas where I think where the sun is hitting her, or the light source, that opacity slider, and brought it down a little bit if it's too harsh. And yeah, You could do that same thing with the highlight. I do them both on separate layers. Then I go and I add on top of all the layers a new layer of white, and I give highlights to the jewelry. We're using the gouache brush, and then with the dry ink brush I add highlights to the eyes and then to the lips. Just a simple line just to indicate that it's shiny this time. Usually I go all out with the highlight on the lips, but I just want to do something simple. And on another layer, you see I use a lot of layers, and I haven't done this before, but I decided I wanted to add some highlights, some lighter blue highlights to her hair, and just make it look wispy. I was thinking of the Starry Night painting by Van Gogh, and I was like, let me do something similar to how the sky looks there, because the curls in her hair was giving me that vibe. So now for one of my favorite parts, something I've recently added to my drawing routine, I guess you could say, or my process, is adding a new layer and using a dark purplish blue, mainly a bluer color, and going for the deepest shadows of the whole character. So everything basically except the hair, because usually the hair is darker than everything else, so I have to go in with a darker color on a separate layer, but that's next. And I just go around where the shadows should be the deepest or the darkest, and I go use that bluish color. And then after I finished outlining everything or shadowing everything, I lower the opacity on everything after I'm finished to where it doesn't overpower the outlines too much of the drawing, but it's still the darkest shadow. I draw these individual strands, and I just put them where the shadow should be hitting the most, if that makes sense. You guys could probably tell how I do this, but where the shadow is, I do it. So when I do curls, the more curls something has, the longer this process takes. Next, over all the layers, I went in with this purplish color, this light purple color, and I did highlights on everything. So I have this style where I do this line and then a dot after. So I did that on her skin. I usually do that on the skin tone. I used to do it everywhere, but it just looked a little too repetitive. So I do it now just on the skin usually. Or sometimes I change it, I don't know. But I go over and places that are hitting the sun more, or not the sun, but the light source, I shade in just with the gouache brush a little bit, and I make the lines also on the skin, and the lines on the skin with the dots on it also with the gouache brush. I have this brush that I just made recently where I could, instead of having to use a PNG file of my signature, I just have a brush now where I could just paste it right there on my artwork, so it's nice. For the highlights I added to the eyes, that layer, I usually use a chromatic aberration. That layer I use the white highlights, and I drag it a little. I use a dissolve. I then use a airbrush on screen the screen layer settings, and use that to brush over the back where the light source is hitting. And then I use this glitter brush from this glitter set I got a couple years ago, and I use that to give that particle effect looking from the light source. And then that is basically what I did. I add a little stars I drew in beside her, and that was the finishing touches. I go in and add in a noise layer. I usually drop a whole solid color on a new layer, and then I change it to noise using the wand tool, and then I bring that all the way to 100%, and then I drag down the opacity just to where it looks good enough to see her still, and I use a soft light layer effect on that. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful. I love you guys. Sorry for no video last week. Thank you guys for 922 subscribers. I love you guys. I'll see you guys next week with another video. And thank you for watching. Bye guys.